Defying Professor Farnsworth, Leela borrows the Planet Express ship to enter a demolition derby after insults from rednecks anger her. Bender finds Qbert and Dwight playing Dungeons and Dragons, but cannot join in since, as a robot, he has no imagination. Bender manages to imagine himself as a medieval knight named Titanius Anglesmith, fancy man of Cornwood, and enters the game. He becomes lost in his fantasy and goes on a rampage, resulting in his commitment to the HAL Institute for Criminally Insane Robots. The crew learns that Mum, who controls the world's only dark matter mine, is restricting the supply to drive up profits. The professor reveals that while working for Mum, he discovered how to turn dark matter into fuel. The process created two crystals, with Mum keeping one for herself and Farnsworth hiding the other, anti-backwards crystal. If the crystals are brought together, they will render dark matter useless. Farnsworth, Fry, and Ella fly to Mom's mine with the crystal to neutralize the dark matter. Encountering Mum and her three sons, Leela fends off Walt, Larry and Agner, while Farnsworth tries to bring his and Mom's crystals together. When Farnsworth is at risk of losing the anti-backwards crystal, he swallows it. The closeness of the crystals triggers a resonance in all dark matter and catapults the characters into Cornwood, the realm Bender imagines himself to be from. Frido, Fry, and Leela, now a centaur, encounter Titanius, Bender. No one in Cornwood has any memory of their real lives except for Fry and Leela. The three are attacked by Waltazar, Walt, Larry, and Agner, who are trying to recover the anti-backwards crystal. While fighting them off, Frido drops the crystal, which rolls like a die and magically banishes the sons. Frido and company meet the wizard, Griffin Farnsworth, who explains that in this world, the anti-backwards crystal is known as the Die of Power. The evil sorceress, Mum, molded a set of powerful dice, but lost this one and has been trying to locate it so she can tap its immense potential. The only way to stop Mum is to enter her lair at the geysers of Gygax and throw the die into the lake of molten plastic from which it was formed. As the group sets out, the intersex pacifist centaur hermaphrodite Hermes bars their passage. The centaurs are opposed to the violence that Frido and company intend to do. Leela easily pushes past hermaphrodite and leads the group to the Cave of Hopelessness. As they approach, Gainka Amy, Queen of the Water Nymphos, joins their quest and seduces the guard, enabling them to enter the cave. Inside the cave, a horde of Mox attacks, followed by a gigantic lobster creature, Zoidberg, which Legola cuts to pieces in a rage, and the worm-like tunneling horror which Frido defeats using the die. As Frido becomes obsessed with the die, Legola renounces violence and takes refuge among the centaurs. Frido attempts to murder the other members of the party. When foiled, he flees with the die. The remaining travelers journey to Wipe Castle to raise an army against Momon, only to find that Roberto, its insane king, has sent his men on a suicide mission. The heroes defend the kingdom as Waltazar and Larius lay siege to it until Legola regains her violent nature and rallies the centaurs to help her friends. Frido makes his way into Momon's lair, aided by Zoidberg's still-living head. Frido cannot bring himself to destroy the die, so Zoidberg bites him to force him to drop it. Momon becomes a dragon and goes after the die, but when it stops rolling, it turns Frido into a dragon as well. The rest of the party arrives, along with Agnes, who reveals a secret Momon told his brothers: he is Griffin's son. Overwhelmed by this revelation, Griffin inadvertently allows Momon to seize the die. Cornwood collapses in on itself, hurling the characters back into the real world. The professor requests a hug from Agna. As the professor theorized, Agna swallowed Mom's crystal in defiance, and the hug brings the crystals in the two men's stomachs close enough to render dark matter useless. The crew harnesses dozens of Niblunians to pull their ship home.